Welcome back to Short Time with Vin and Dave. Vin Avenue, Dave Crossan with you as we head into the financial wake-up call here on Short Time with Vin and Dave. And Dave, I was thinking, sometimes...
It's good when you think. What are you thinking about, buddy?
I try to do it on a daily basis, at least...
Every now and then.
A few minutes here and there.
Sure.
Those CDs or cassettes, like Sounds of the Rainforest or, those
soothing,
music or noises that help people go to sleep. Or like the Eurythmics... Sweet dreams are made of this.
Oh,
well, you know
boy.
what? This morning, Dave, sweet dreams are made of the financial wake-up call.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah. And I see you have a whole list of different things you could say here, but I like where you went with this one.
Some people count sheep, some people count finances.
So basically you're saying is what I'm going to go over, everybody's going to fall asleep. That's basically it. Is that
when their head hits the pillow tonight, they're going to be thinking about it all day. They're going to say,
you were saying this is how people fall asleep when I get on the air.
Dave's financial wake-up call this morning.
All right.
Okay. And, because of your advice, it gives them sweet dreams instead of nightmares.
They're not falling asleep because of it.
Right.
Okay.
Some people are up night worrying about different financial concerns, and you're going to be like...
I'll see what I can do.
The Annie Lennox of the financial world.
I'll see what I can do. So, had a great question from Alan...
All right.
In Bloomfield.
There we go.
We're going up the Parkway, buddy.
Short Time Vin and Dave is going all over.
I know. I love it. Alan in Bloomfield is a listener. And first of all, thank you for being a listener.
Oh, of course.
And he had a good question. And here's his question. He was asking me, he wants to start gifting money to his children while he's alive. His logic is, hey, I have extra money. While I'm alive, I'd like to give them this money, certain amount of money, if you will,
all right,
rather than when he passes, so he can at least see them enjoy it during his lifetime. I get that.
Sure. Yeah.
For a lot of people, they've worked hard, and if they're in a situation where they're fortunate enough to be able to pass money on while they're alive, that's great, and they want to see their children, their grandchildren enjoy it, whatever the situation is. So what he was asking me is, what are the parameters? What is the best way to do it tax-wise? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. So I can gift $16,000. That's the annual exclusion to as many people as I want. Vin, here's $16,000.
All right, I'll take it.
Alan can gift as many people as he wants, family members, and it doesn't have to be family. It could be friends. It doesn't matter the relationship, okay? In this situation, there's no tax on his part, and for the person receiving it, there isn't any tax, assuming it's something where, let's say, cash, okay?
All right, sure.
So what I figured I would do today is talk about a couple different scenarios where people make a mistake when they gift. Because like I said, let's say I'm gifting cash or I'm writing you a check from money in my bank account, and there it is. No tax on my side, no tax on your side.
Okay.
Basic transaction, okay? And because it's within those gifting limits, the annual exclusion, it's not something I have to file on my taxes, okay? And above that I would. That's a different conversation.
So above 16?
Yeah, above 16. And there is an ability to do that. In fact, we have the ability in our lifetime currently over $12 million, which again, I'm not gifting anybody $12 million. I don't think Alan
Dave,
is as well.
If you're giving out $12 million,
but there is a way to do it. Let's say I had to go over the $16,000. What I would do is that amount above the 16, I do file that on my taxes. So let's say I gave $20,000, 16 could be my annual exclusion amount, and the additional 4 would be my lifetime exemption amount, and that number just gets subtracted from what I can gift, which currently is north of $12 million. So let's get back to what we're talking about here. So what is the best way to do this? So we talked about simply writing a check, cash to that individual, whatever the situation is. Some people do this, and this is where there can be problems, okay? Well, I shouldn't say problems, but taxes, okay? So let's say, for example, I want to gift that $16,000, and it just so happens I have $16,000 of a stock that I bought, but I purchased the stock at $10,000. So I'm thinking, well, what's the big deal? It's worth $16 now. I send it over to you, Vin. Thank you. There's the amount I want to gift to you.
Okay.
But let's say, like, David, thank you.
Hopefully
you would say thank you.
Oh, yeah. If you're giving that much.
Okay. But then you go, then you're thinking, you know what, Dave, I'm going to use this $16,000 for a car purchase or whatever you decide to do, and you go ahead and sell that stock.
Okay.
Here's the hiccup. We have a hiccup. you are going to pick up my cost basis. So
Oh.
I purchased something in this example, I purchased it for $10,000. It's now $16,000. I gift it to you. It's that value, $16,000. We talked about. The problem
Right.
is I paid $10,000 for it.
Oh.
So when you go to sell it, you are on the hook for that $6,000. Okay? So you have some gains there, some capital gains you've got to deal with. Okay?
Yeah.
Could be short term, could be long term. Short term at your tax bracket, long term over a year at a max up to 20% currently. Again,
Okay.
that's a good amount.
Sure.
Okay? So there's a situation where if I'm thinking, you know what? Under current tax law, if I didn't gift that money and let's say I passed away with that stock at the $16,000 value, then the person receiving it would have received it at the date of death value, the $16,000, and there wouldn't have been any tax. Does that
Oh.
make sense?
Yeah.
So it just steps up to the date of death value. If instead of gifting it, I held it till I passed away, and then that $16,000 becomes an inheritance to an individual, and there'd be a step up in cost basis to the 16, and that would be the basis. Then you would sell it. There wouldn't be any capital gains in that scenario.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So now let's talk about a different scenario. Let's talk about a scenario where maybe I bought a stock for $20,000.
All right.
And unfortunately, it went down in value. It went down to that $16,000. Well, okay, if I were to give it to you as a gift, that's not going to be a tax issue because I had a higher cost basis. But for me, myself, and I was in a situation where maybe I could have taken advantage of the fact that, well, you know what? I paid $20,000. It's now $16,000. If I would have sold it, meaning me, before I transferred it to you,
Right.
then I could have used that as a possible loss to offset maybe some gains with other stocks that I had, or carry it forward where I could theoretically $3,000 a year I could utilize even if I don't have any gains and take advantage of it for my tax situation. You see
Okay.
where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're getting the $16,000, but why wouldn't I take that stock that was originally $20,000,
Right.
sold it, right? At $16,000, then I give that to you. You get your $16,000. There's no tax issue for you in that situation. The capital gains, like we talked about before.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
And then I have a write-off ability. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's another one, and let's just shift gears.
Okay.
Okay. And I see this a lot for people that say, you know what, my concern is for my mom and dad. You know, if something happens and they need Medicaid, or there's an asset where I'd like to get this out of my parents' name, all right, they'll do something where they will transfer the home to the children.
Okay.
Consider what I said here before about,
Right.
let's say the parents paid $100,000 for the home, and now it's worth $500,000. What's the problem? If one of the children, let's say it goes to one child, they go ahead and sell it, they're on the hook for capital gains of $400,000. See where I'm going with this?
Wow.
Where if the home would have been in the parent's name, they passed away, and then the children inherit the house, the cost basis now is $500,000. And then when they sold, assuming the same value, they wouldn't have those capital gains. See where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Now, again, there's different. I don't want to, with this
Interesting.
conversation, get into Medicaid planning, and there are different assets that people can hold on to, and it won't count against them. I'm just using that as an example because I
Right.
see sometimes people make that move. And again, I'm not talking about that's a good idea in any way, transferring a house out of the parent's name. That's something where you want to lean on an estate planning attorney to have the conversation if you're in a situation where you're needing to qualify for Medicaid or you're looking to get assets out of parents' name to the children. I just wanted to bring up that example because, again, if that happened and it was transferred simply to one of your children's names, okay, then what ends up happening is they pick up your cost basis. And let's be honest, you see this real estate market, right?
Yeah.
And you see all the different gains. And let's say somebody purchased a house many, many years ago and they have a low cost basis. Well, guess what? Now it's a situation where if that's transferred over, who's paying the bill? Well, the person receiving it. And if there's a lot of capital gains, well, that's something they're going to have to deal with. Where if that person would have passed away with that asset in their name and then it was part of the inheritance, it's that step up in basis. Again, I'm just using that as an example because you think about different assets where there could be a lot of appreciation. Stocks or investments, mutual funds, different things of that nature could have a lot of gains. A home, for example, could have a lot of gains, and we've seen it in this market right now with the way real estate is.
Yeah.
So the reason I wanted to bring this up is if you are considering gifting, the best advice I can give you is talk to your accountant, talk to your CPA, as well as your financial advisor in going through what makes sense, what assets make sense to do something like this. And if there's an ability to take advantage of for the stock, where the stock was down, in that example where it was 20,000 purchase, and now it's 16, selling that stock for the person transferring it, they may be able to take advantage of a loss and help them tax-wise. Just putting it out there, couple different thoughts. Alan, thank you so much for the great question. And I wanted to put this out there in a general sense. But again, as always, lean on a CPA, your accountant, and of course, for any estate planning, especially what we were just talking about, if the issue could be Medicaid or trying to qualify for it, speak to that expert regarding that topic. And there it is.
There it is.
And notice
getting deep.
Yes. I spun the pen around. I was so excited. There it is.
Getting very animated.
Exactly.
It's exciting.
Right.
No, great topic, and very, it's something that everybody needs to know about, something to think about. Dave, people can reach the show, shorttime at townsquaremedia.com. Where can they get in touch with you to try and determine what the appropriate steps are in making such a decision?
Okay, buddy.
At Shoreline Wealth Management.
There it is. All right. Phone number, 732-902-7880. And of course, you could visit us at shorelinewealth.com with offices in Manchester and Manahawkin.
There it is. Boom. That's what I call a financial wake-up call that'll give you some sweet dreams tonight.
Yes. Thank you, my man.
We've got a great guest coming up next. Toms River Mayor Mo Hill joins us to discuss what's going on ahead in the summer months, as well as year-round projects as well going on in the Township of Toms River. More Short Time with Vin and Dave coming up next here on 94.3 The Point and 105.7 The Hawk. The opinions voiced in this show are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. This information is not intended to be a substitute for individualized legal advice. Please consult your legal advisor regarding your specific situation.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.
Whether you are in the early stages of investing, getting ready to retire, or planning your estate, you need a financial planner who will guide you on a clear path with honesty and transparency. Shoreline Wealth Management provides clarity through the complexity. Shoreline's system is straightforward. They will understand your financial circumstances, identify goals, analyze current plans, and customize a path to position you to reach your goals. Shoreline Wealth Management is your financial anchor. Visit shorelinewealth.com for more information today. Shorelinewealth.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC.
Hi, this is Southside Johnny from the Asbury Jukes, and you are listening to Short Time with Vin and Dave on 94.3 The Point and 105.7 The Hawk. And I'm in the Hall of Fame.
Welcome back to Short Time with Vin and Dave. Vin Avenue, Dave Crossan with you, and joining us here this hour is the mayor of Toms River, Mo Hill, to talk about some things going on this summer in terms of events, as well as summer fun, summer safety, and lots going on in Toms River and the redevelopment project as well. So, Mayor Hill, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So this is fun here. Father's Day, summertime, Toms River. So how have you seen things go so far? I know we're sort of, a couple days officially away from the beginning of summer, but how have things been going in Toms River lately?
They're going pretty well. We're repairing some of the dune damage that was done basically around the surf club area. Last council meeting, we approved $250,000, so they're trucking in sand now. That should all be done when school lets out and the beaches are open full time. Also, I got to stress again, beach safety and water safety as we go into the summer season. Only swim when the lifeguards are on duty and in a protected area. Don't swim outside the confines of where the flags are on the beach. And as we all learned, digging too big a hole of sand can have tragic consequences. We lost a young man a couple of weeks ago. Our beach patrol is taught that no bigger than a 1.5 to 2 foot hole for water to come up and kids to play in, but please, please, please don't dig a hole and bury yourself in sand because you may have trouble getting out. And, it was a tragedy that I think we could have avoided. Again, that beach was a private beach in the north portion of Toms River, but the Normandy section, but it was unprotected and there were no guards or no staff on for the beaches. So everybody be safe and enjoy the beaches.
Yeah, and along those lines, whether Normandy Beach, Ortley Beach, Chadwick Beach, and everything else along the northern end of Toms River, there where the beach is. A lot of us who live in Toms River, who go to those Toms River beaches, kind of know the deal with the sand and everything. But do you feel like should there be more signs or more external communication to maybe people, some of the visiting the Toms River beaches?
I think, our beaches are a little narrow. We've lost some sand since the last replenishment, so we're hoping that the Army Corps of Engineers comes back in. I spoke with Congressman Kim today at the Ocean County Mayor's meeting. We're going to have a meeting of the Barrier Island mayors to discuss this. As you know, Bayhead suffered a loss, and so did Manaloking. So again, we need them back for next summer so that we have a decent-sized beach. And they told us in 2021 when we met after the February storm up in Manalokan that they anticipated when they did a uniform beach replenishment that there would be what they called hotspots. Okay. And they've identified them now as Bayhead, Manalokan, and Ortley Beach. So I would anticipate they're going to change the topography of the beaches. They'll probably make them higher, make them out into the water a little bit more, so that we don't lose as much beach. But again, it's there's a share for the municipality and the state, and I do think with the state having an increase of 7 to 8 billion revenue and excess revenues, that since everybody from New Jersey enjoys our Jersey Shore beaches, that the state should consider funding that municipal portion and pay that whole share. The government's going to pay half, or $32 million, and the other $30 million or so will come from state and municipal. But I think everything considered, that the state with this excess revenue should apply that toward the beach replenishment. It happens once every 4 to 5 years, so I think they should budget for it. The municipalities can't afford it. I mean, Bayhead, Manalokan, very small communities. Right. The impact to their budget could be catastrophic.
Federal forecasters have predicted a pretty active hurricane season coming up. Obviously, this is coming up on 10 years since Sandy. There's been other not as severe storms that have kind of come up the coast in Ocean County and hit Toms River and a lot of the other Ocean, Monmouth County communities as well. What are you hoping for with the Army Corps of Engineers, or just kind of overall with making sure that Ortley Beach and the other Toms River beaches are protected for businesses and the residents who are living and vacationing or renting there?
Yeah, well, I think the dunes are doing their job, first of all. Yes, we lost a little bit of dune, but I can remember before we had the dunes, before Sandy came, and even after Sandy, before the Army Corps came in, if we had a severe northeast storm, the waves are coming right up to the boardwalk and into the streets in some cases. And when Sandy hit, we didn't have the dune, so we lost not only beach, but we lost private property. Now those houses have all been rebuilt, so these dunes are doing what they're supposed to do. Yes, we're fighting Mother Nature, and we realize that we can't win that battle, but we can at least play it as a tie and hold the line on it. So the dunes are doing their job. Yes, we lost some sand on the dunes. As I said, we're going to address that, and hopefully the Army Corps comes back this year, at the beginning of next year, and we get a nice beach for next year, and we'll be protected. And that's an insurance plan. When they started this, they said they'd come back every 4 to 5 years and re-nourish the beaches. So the good news is dunes are doing their job. Good. I think it protects us. I think if Sandy were to hit us again, you wouldn't see the property damage. You'd see loss of beach, probably loss of portion of the dune, but I don't think you'd see property damage. We're protected from that.
What is it that you'd like residents or tourists to know this summer, while they're coming here to rent or to stay in the area, or obviously people who live here in Toms River year-round, wherever that is, more on the mainland or more towards the beaches, about just, being on guard, thinking ahead, planning ahead, and being ready for any kind of storm that comes, whether it's just, for lack of a better word, a routine thunderstorm or a nasty storm like that, or something a little bit more severe, that could happen this summer.
Well, one of the things I did, I was at the League of Municipalities. It was the first time I went down as a mayor, and I was concerned because we had one lifeguard from South Seaside Park, as you know, last year who was electrocuted from a lightning storm. So as I was walking around, I saw a lightning protection system, and the cost was about $30,000 to $35,000. And I said, I thought this would be a good idea for the Ortley Beach area.
Sure.
We could put 2 sirens up, and it supposedly notifies, I think it's 10 to 15 miles away, so you have a warning. I mean, if I was a lifeguard when I was in college, and it was always up, you'd see the dark clouds forming, and it wasn't until you heard thunder that you could say, okay, everybody out of the water. So rather than wait for that or a freak lightning strike, this should protect us. We do have it on our golf course, which I hadn't thought about, but when you're walking around the golf course, you probably carried about 12 to 14 clubs that are lightning rods. So we do have it on base.
I know that's terrible, but I'm just saying, it's like, we don't want that. No.
Exactly. You hold your putter up or your umbrella, and before you know it, you're a human lightning bolt. So we do have it on Bay Lee, so we're going to institute that. It should be in place. We're going to be talking, probably passing the resolution for the purchase of that at Wednesday's meeting. We'll start that, and it should be in place by July 4th. We're hoping so that will protect us from any storms. I think in talking before we started the show, we talked about with the price of gas and the price of food that a lot of people are kind of probably tailoring back their vacation plans, where they might have gone to Virginia Beach or they might have gone up to Cape Cod. Now they're looking at saying, hey, we'll go to the Jersey Shore. Yeah. So there's going to be an influx of people, and hopefully they'll take advantage of some of the things we have going on in downtown Toms River. We have, as you know, dining out every Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah,
we're going to have food trucks on Sundays because a lot of the restaurants are closed. So the brewery and the distillery will be open. So with the food trucks, there'll be an opportunity to come downtown. We've got the farmers market every Wednesday at Huddy Park from 11 to 4. We've got July 16th. It's going to be Summer in the Street. We'll close down the streets. We'll have vendors and a lot of activities for our residents. And my personal favorite, although I can't get my car down here because it conflicts with council meetings, is downtown cruising every second Wednesday when we have antique cars downtown. So if you're interested in coming down and looking at some vintage automobiles, probably from my age group when I was a kid. But I can't get unfortunately won't be able to get my mother's 1968 Ford Fairlane 500 Galaxy, banana yellow with a black top downtown. You can barely fit it in the garage, but
that's a boat. That's a long
boat. It is. I like to tell everybody you can get 6 people my size in there, 3 in the front, 3 in the back. So maybe I'll show up at a parade with it one day.
There you go.
Two-door, right?
Two-door.
The length of those doors, how heavy they are. Oh, wow.
It's
solid though.
It is. It's. I tell you, when you ride it, it's like riding in a boat. You can feel it. You can feel it cruising along.
Just kind of like that up and down low rider action.
Shocks aren't as good as the new cars, but you can you get the feeling you're riding in a boat. Yeah, it's solid. Somebody hits me, they're going to be dented, not me.
Play some of the music from the 60s, 70s.
There you go. Motown. That was my era. Motown.
Oh, there you go.
60s.
I mean, I guess you could still do that with your car today too. Just kind of let the windows go down, just ride around downtown Toms River.
Listen, I've gone back to when they used to have 45 records play in your car. Then they went to 8 tracks. Then they went to cassettes. Then they went to CDs. Now it's through your Apple phone or your Android phone.
The tough thing with the 8-track, you put it in there and you couldn't perfectly get to the next song. Kind of like you'd push a button to advance it, and it would be like the middle of the next song.
It's challenging. I mean, my playlist is just a couple of country western songs or country songs, which are now kind of like the pop songs from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So it's been a change, but it's interesting. So it's a lot of fun. We're having a good time in Toms River. A lot of things going on.
Yeah, when you have gone to the antique shows over the years, what have been some of your other favorite cars that you've seen outside of, bringing your own on occasion? What are some of your favorite antique cars that you've seen in Toms River?
The one I like is the old Corvette split window in the back. Yeah. Split window in the back was nice. It was a hard top, wasn't a convertible, but that was always a classy car.
I think the James Steen Corvette.
Yes.
I don't know what year that was.
Yeah. Well, they have you look at a lot of them. I mean, I never was a big, sports car guy.
Right.
Because if you're 6'2" and you weigh 230, just getting in and out's challenging. So, I drive a Suburban because it's comfortable and it's like an aircraft carrier. I can get 6 grandkids in, plus all the gear for the beach, and my wife and I can ride up front, and it's a comfortable ride.
There you go.
Gorgeous car.
The Corvettes from the 60s were classic. The old 55 T-Birds, they were classic too. You see those around every now and then. But I'm into comfort now. So I'll drive the big
I've never
boat.
driven one of those Corvettes from the 60s. A little bit of a rough ride.
Yeah, and you're sitting low, you're tight. The Triumphs were very cramped. The Spitfires.
But you look good.
Yeah, you did. When I had hair, the wind would be blowing in my hair. Now I have to be careful I don't shine a light on somebody coming down the other way. They have to put their sunglasses on, but that's all right. I had it when it was important.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, antique car shows are great. That is one of the things I like going to, even growing up. Just come down Washington Street, 6-7 o'clock at night, and just see all the cool cars kind of lined up. Everybody showing them off. So it's a pretty cool event. Take time out, bring the whole family.
They have them on Fisher Boulevard during the week too. I've seen them out.
You're right outside where the old food town used to be.
Where the food town. So I don't know what the dates that they have, but they're usually during the week. So if you like, driving down Fisher Boulevard and you see the antique cars, go and stop in, take a look.
Yeah, they get some nice ones there too.
And I don't know if they sell. Sometimes I guess people have them for sale.
Probably,
Yeah, I guess in certain spots.
I always wanted an old car with a rumble seat. I thought they were kind of cool from back in the 30s, I guess. But it probably cost an arm and a leg to have one of those reconditioned.
How about the old school pickup trucks? Something about the look of them, I mean, like an old Ford or something like that.
Yeah. Well, the old, I remember the old Fords used to be with the Good Humor ice cream man coming around. And then, you had the ice cream in the back, and then the side he'd reach in and pull it out. The kids would come dashing around. Now it's like Mr. Softy and stuff, but it's just not the same as the Good Humor man. I mean, it was a classic with that truck, that white truck.
Yeah.
I think those were Fords. But, we got a lot of stuff going on. I mean, Tom's River, a lot of positive things. I think we're headed in a positive direction. We've got the VA coming. We had a groundbreaking on that a couple of weeks ago, and that's going to be up and running probably by 2024. I really think, and I've asked both Congressmen Kim and Congressman Smith, that it ought to be named for Bud Lamel. I mean, he's a World War II hero. We celebrated D-Day a couple of weeks ago, and he scaled the heights at Pond de Hoc on a rope ladder. I mean, if you take a look just at the cliffs, it's a challenge just to climb, but even more challenging when people are firing bullets at you. And then he went inland with his Rangers, and they took out the guns that were firing on the beach. And Eisenhower credited him with a lot of the success of D-Day. The Rangers, they were critical.
Oh, wow.
He's mentioned in The Greatest Generation by Tom Brokaw, and he spoke at the 40th anniversary of D-Day back in 1984 with President Reagan. He was the featured speaker.
Oh, wow.
He's in the Ranger Hall of Fame. I will tell you, I was at the American Cemetery in Normandy. He's mentioned in that museum. We got a lot going on. The Ocean County Social Services Building will be located right behind that, so it's kind of one-stop shopping for the vets. They've got the mall there. They've got TD Bank and Ocean First, which is going to be opening up here soon. That's a good neighbor. A lot of people didn't like the height of it. I think the building looks beautiful. I will tell you that inside of it, we got to tour it. Each floor has a different color scheme, and they have a main meeting room right as you get off the elevator. And each one, I think, is named for a different fish.
Oh, wow.
From the ocean. And they have down on the first floor, they have a huge dining area.
Oh, wow.
They also have a gym, full gym, weights and machines that the employees can use after hours. They can swipe card to come in from the outside. There's an outside entrance. They can use it after work. It's a well thought out facility, and we heard from people that it's 6 or 7 stories. That's going to be the biggest building in Toms River. And I said, yeah, but do you really want Ocean First headquarters in Monmouth County or another county?
Right.
I think, you certainly want to keep it in Ocean County where it started. That started in Point Pleasant. And, when they approached us and talked to our planning board, I think everybody in the council thought it was a home run.
Sure.
And it's jobs. It's like 340 jobs. And we're seeing contraction of other banks where they're closing branches.
Great point.
This is, here we're going to have a full-service facility here.
Expanding.
With a lot of jobs. They're expanding. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the kind of businesses that we want to see that bring jobs to town, and it's a good rateable, too.
There you go.
Keep our taxes down.
Yeah, there you go. Mayor, Dave and I have to go to a quick break, but we want to talk more about what's coming up in Toms River. Can you hang with us?
Sure.
Excellent. More Short Time with Vin and Dave next.
Hi, this is high performance executive coach Dana Cavalier and former director of strength and conditioning for the New York Yankees. And you're listening to Shore Time with Vin and Dave on 94.3 The Point and 105.7 The Hawk. It's always great to hang with champions, and these two guys are champions.
Whether you're in the early stages of investing, getting ready to retire, or planning your estate, you need a financial planner who will guide you on a clear path with honesty and transparency. Shoreline Wealth Management provides clarity through the complexity with offices in Manchester and Manahawkin. Shoreline Wealth Management is your financial anchor. Visit shorelinewealth.com for more information and start your financial journey with comfort and security today. Shorelinewealth.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC.
Welcome back to Short Time with Vin and Dave. Vin Avenue, Dave Crossan with you. With us here this morning is the mayor of Toms River, Mo Hill. We've been talking about some summer events, what's going on across Toms River throughout the year as well. And, we finished up, one of the last things we talked about in the first segment was the expansion of Ocean First Bank and everything that's in it. And just amazing with all the different things in it, the gym at the bottom, the main dining room. So it's great stuff. And, we talk about the local economy. We've done that on this show as well with how towns have battled through a couple of years of the pandemic and trying to figure things out with budgets and taxes and everything. So how are things looking in Toms River as we head into the summer of 22?
Well, I'm proud of the accomplishments made over the last 2.5 years. And when I took office, the first thing that hit us 3 months in was COVID.
Right.
They shut everything down. We were able to work with the unions for some furloughs, so the employers were able to collect unemployment. The impact saved us about $900,000. As we have people retire from our workforce, we're constantly doing a kind of a desk audit. Do we need that position? Can it be staffed with a part-timer, or is it a position that we can manage without?
Sure. And
we've reduced roughly about $2 million in savings as far as salaries with that efficiency. We've also, through the efficiency study that the council undertook about a year or so ago, we brought several things back in-house. We now do our fire subcode official in-house. We were contracting that out. That's actually saved us between $100,000 and $150,000. We were able to restructure our buildings and grounds department, locate them under public works, and we were able to save a foreman position, save a couple of jobs there, and we were also able to restructure our routes for recycling. So where we used to have only twice a month,
right.
If you had a month with 5 weeks, sometimes you waited 3 weeks for your recycling. If you're like me, you generate more recycling than garbage.
Right.
So what we did is we now go every other week. So we've really picked up 2 extra recycling pickups per year per resident at zero cost.
Nice.
Because we were able to increase the efficiencies in our departments. We're going with a new automated HR system, which links with our payroll system.
Okay.
Before we were doing a lot of paper and pencil type of thing, or we print out documents, have to reconcile them with the CFO. Now those 2 systems interlock and talk to one another. So we see a lot of streamlining there. We get a lot of requests for different things, and you'd be surprised. I get emails from residents, and I always had a problem with the turning arrow on Whitesville and 70. It's a state-controlled light.
Yeah.
But if you remember, you could only get about 2 cars through on a left-hand turn, either way, going north or south on Whitesville. So I called our DOT Commissioner, Diane
Gutierrez
Gichetti. I sit with her on the South Jersey Board of Transportation. So I called her up and I said, I've got a problem with the light. Can you make it, instead of 5 seconds, can you increase it to 10 to 15 seconds?
Sure.
Because we have a lot of queuing, and we've had accidents where people have tried to jump. The arrow turns red, and they still try to make the turn. So in a matter of 2 days, they changed it to, I think it's about 15 seconds.
Okay.
And I was there the other day. You can literally get 8 cars through now, where you could only get 2 before. So we've got a lot less accidents. It's less queuing on the road. And that was just something that, I got a couple of emails. I said, hey, I recognize this problem because I've been on that road.
Right.
And I called her and said, can you help us out? And in a matter of 2 days, it was taken care of. And a lot of the residents, when they give us, send us emails about different problems, the nice part about local government is that you can address these issues and usually resolve them.
Sure.
Now, the resident might not always like the answer they get, but we'll get them the right answer and explain the situation. But a lot of times they'll come with a legitimate complaint. Somebody missed my garbage pickup. I'll contact Public Works. They have a crew in the area. They'll go by, they'll pick it up, and everybody's happy. So, we've been striving for good customer service at Town Hall. When I took over, my attitude was we are paid by the residents to serve the residents.
Sure.
So we're there to provide customer service. And you can do that in a courteous way. Nobody should be treated discourteously. And I've stressed that. And I started a program where I printed up certificates and I'll hand them out. And it's interesting because some of the departments it's becoming a competition now. I've got 4, you've only got 3. And I think it's built a harmonious relationship within the offices where people will help one another. If somebody's busy, somebody else will pick it up and help the resident. I also do what I call a rounding, almost like a doctor would go do hospital rounds.
Okay.
I started during COVID because we were shut down. No public could come in.
Right.
And I was concerned about people in their own little cubby not seeing anybody else. So I started walking around. I start down at the basement with code enforcement and parking authority and fire bureau, and then come up to building and the tax assessor, tax collector, the clerk's office, over to legal, then up to the CFO and the engineering and zoning department. And I'll spend about maybe 45 minutes chatting with people and just, how you doing? Is everything okay? And I think it's built a team atmosphere now, which I'm proud of.
Yeah.
It's not like, well, I'm just in the legal department, so I don't have to worry about what happens in the clerk's office. No, we have a lot of interaction with our departments.
Yeah, help each other out.
Yeah, exactly. Pick up a line of communication, and I'm proud of that. It's a little bit of walking around. I got to climb 3 flights of stairs, but
get your steps in.
Part of my steps. Yeah, I work out in the morning. This is my afternoon exercise. But and I think it's promoted a lot of teamwork within the township.
And I know you guys got the redevelopment projects, under works and everything, kind of going from phase to phase. So, where are things at with the downtown redevelopment project and everything? And what will things ultimately look like?
Well, I think they're going to be coming. Phase 1 should probably be coming before the planning board pretty soon.
Okay.
We've got a couple of little loose ends we have to tie up. Yes, it's a 10-story building, and I was concerned about that. I'll be quite frank with you. And then I went online and I did a Google Earth shot of Asbury Park, Red Bank, even Belmar.
Okay.
And Belmar has a 10-story Marina Towers, which sits right across from their downtown section and the marina. Asbury Park has a 14-story right across from the convention center, and they've got the Berkeley Carteret Hotel that goes up about eight stories, and in Red Bank, right next to the Molly Pitcher, within a block, you have 2 12-story apartment complexes. So to do a downtown redevelopment, we need people living down there to support the businesses.
Sure.
And I see, although it's 10 stories, the DEP, it used to be a horseshoe, but it was blocking the water view. So the DEP said, we'd like you to go up so that there are water views of the headwaters of the Toms River. So, they designed it, and it went to 10 stories. The first 3 are parking garage. There's 1 story of retail, and then you've basically got 6 stories of apartments. Huh. So it's not all apartments. Some of it's parking, some of it's retail. So it looks like a nice project on paper, and I'm optimistic. We, as you know, Community Medical Center has a very aggressive growth plan. They just came before our zoning board, so they're going to be expanding that hospital to be twice the size. They're going to, bed count will stay the same, but they'll all be private rooms.
Okay.
So they're going to be undergoing a growth project. Plus, they've started with a residency and internship program. They're going to expand that. Right now, I think it's internal medicine, but they're going to eventually expand that a little bit. And we think a lot of these interns will gravitate to the downtown area and live in these apartments for the 2 or 3 years they're going through the residency and then move on. Now, if you serve a 10-hour shift or a 12-hour shift and you come back, no matter whether it's morning, noon, or evening, you're not going to want to sit down and make yourself a dinner. So you're going to look for a restaurant. So we would need breakfast restaurants, we'd need lunch, and we'd need dinner. So I see it stimulating breakfast, and I also see little niche shops that would be down there that would appeal to people. Maybe some art shops, some interesting clothing type of shops that you might not find online. So I'm optimistic that it's going to work out and work out well. We've been talking about it for 40 years. Let's do it.
Yeah. Do you think that it will help in attracting, I guess, a younger crowd with younger families? I guess, mom, dad, a couple kids.
Yeah, we see two types of people: the millennials, young millennials, and maybe seniors that are snowbirds in the winter. Come up, they have family here. They might want to take an apartment and have a place downtown. But either one of those categories, I think, would be stimulating to downtown business. And I think that's a big help. And like you said, it's in 3 phases. So the first phase will be right next to the post office. And we're hoping that eventually the post office will move out to near where the VA is.
Okay.
We've had discussions with them. If you think about it, the post office is almost in South Toms River. Another block and you're in South Toms River. So to service the northern part of town, those trucks are on the road for a half hour, 45 minutes before they get to where they're delivering mail.
Right.
So if they locate, you've got Hooper and Bay that intersect one another. You can go east, west, north, or south. So
yeah, a little more centrally located.
It'll be centrally located for the residents. So I think that's a plus. And we're talking with them. They might be interested in moving. That'll open up that for redevelopment of businesses. I could see townhouses down there in that area. That'll be a breakup of a mix of housing. So people who don't like apartments but might like a townhouse. And you're right near the bus terminal. So you've got easy transportation into the city, which a lot of the millennials like. They don't want to drive into the city. They hop on a bus and go. So we've got 2 other locations that are presently being looked at, phase 2 and phase 3. So
nice. You mentioned earlier as well, just kind of with whether from the redevelopment or just different things going on this summer, especially, I guess, with the, maybe people either staying local because of gas prices, inflation, or either Toms River residents themselves, or maybe people just kind of coming to the Jersey Shore and hitting Ortley Beach and Toms River and everything. Do you think that could really play in an economic favor for Toms River with more people being here and shopping local, eating local?
Yeah, I think it obviously will. We depend, mostly on the summer traffic. I mean, a lot of businesses are oriented around the Jersey Shore, so you've got a short window from Memorial Day through Labor Day. But I think the advantage, too, is as people come down and they look at the area, they may say, hey, there's a lot of stuff going on in Toms River now. Maybe we'll retire down here at the shore. And I think it could attract people from North Jersey to come down and move out of what might be a more congested area to come down to where, they've got a little bit more room and some interesting things to do. So as we move forward with this, I think it's got a snowball effect.
If you build it, they will come.
Yes, there you go.
I'm telling you.
There you go.
But you bring up a great point, too, because of the transportation. People that say we're working in New York, maybe they're working remote now or only have to go in the city a couple days a week. Bus will get them there. Most of the time they're here enjoying the nice scene of having the water and now the downtown and that development. It's going to be a good thing.
Well, anytime I've ever gone into the city, I've taken the bus.
Sure.
Because by the time you figure the tolls on the parkway, the bridge tolls, parking in the city, and gas, I mean, it just makes sense to use the only mass transit we have, unfortunately, is the bus. It'd be nice if we had railroad down here.
Yeah.
I talked to my friends up in North Jersey, and I was driving with one of them. We went over railroad tracks, and I said, "What was that?" And the guy said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Railroad tracks." I said, "We don't have any of those in Ocean County. It ends in Bayhead."
Bayhead, yeah.
So, and then you've got every stop along the line. So a lot of people
That's
from
really
here,
true. Yeah, a lot
of people from here will go up to Red Bank and pick it up at Red Bank because it's less stops into the city. But I absolutely, I think you're correct. As people start migrating back into the cities, and a lot of companies are now saying, okay, we want you back in the office now. The remote was okay, but we need you back in. My son-in-law, they lived in Red Bank, and he used to take the bus from Red Bank.
Right.
And he was looking for a house in Red Bank. And I said, well, we got a bus terminal here that goes right into the city.
Right.
So he came down and looked, and he actually got to the city faster from Toms River on the express bus than he did on the local going up Route 9 from Freehold. So they were able to get more house in Toms River than they could in Monmouth County. So they located, which I was a little, it was in my best interest to encourage them to come down. 2 more voters, and I get to see my granddaughter a little bit
there
more.
You go.
So.
Well done.
Any votes I can pick up along the way,
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, what the heck?
As we start wrapping up here, we've talked about events in the beach and boardwalk and whatnot, but what do you think makes Toms River a great place to be during the summertime?
I think it's a great place all year long.
That's true. I mean, I live here, so
I think we have an exceptional school system. We have 3 high schools, we have 3 intermediate schools, and we have 12 elementary schools. And I will tell you, when we shifted to the ward form of government, I was a little concerned because I lived in Newark when I went to dental school, and the dental school was in Jersey City. And that ward system in Newark wasn't functional. There was constant interaction and fighting or whatever between the wards. And Toms River has a beautiful relationship. And I always say, we got 3 high schools. They battle one another on the football field, the basketball field, the wrestling, the track, the baseball, lacrosse, you name it, soccer. But if one of those high schools is in the state tournament, the entire town is behind them. And I'll point to the 2 little leagues.
Yeah, Toms
We've
River East
sent 2
last
different
year.
little leagues to Williamsport. And in both cases, it wasn't, this is just my side of the town. No, everybody was at the field when they won the championship, and everybody was at the field when they came back at the Toms River Little League. So we've got Toms River Little League East and Toms River Little League. Both of them have sent teams to Williamsport. I used to people would tell me, you're from Toms River. They won the Little League World Series in '98. I said, yeah, but let me tell you, if we had one team from Toms River, we'd be there every year.
Right.
Because
There's a lot
the
of
town
talent.
is split in half.
Yeah.
And it's that school system, and they do it efficiently and effectively. And we have a superintendent who's local now, and I think we're going to have we're going to see great things for Toms River schools, and that in and of itself would be a very positive reason to move to Toms River.
Absolutely.
You want to grow. You want your family to be educated here, to grow up here with the facilities we have. So I encourage people, come down, move into Toms River, and I think you'll be very satisfied with the services we have, the events we have around, and particularly the school system.
Absolutely.
I'm very proud. That's one of the reasons I moved into Toms River, to raise my family here.
Yeah, so my parents moved down here in the late 80s because of the reputation of the Toms River school system. So,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Growing up here in Toms River, it's been great. Lots to do year round, summertime, whatever. I mean, and to your point, Toms River is just kind of that close community. We help each other out. We cheer each other on.
We do. They'll battle on the fields, the sports fields, and they're competitive. They're competitive, but when it's all said and done, we're all residents of one town.
There we go.
And I think that's the beauty of Toms River.
Absolutely. Mayor Hill, thanks for joining us to
Thank
discuss
you.
the summer in Toms River, and happy Father's Day to you as well.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Happy Father's Day to you guys.
I'm not a father yet. Godfather,
you have dads,
That's
celebrate
true.
your fathers. Okay.
Will do. More Short Time with Vin and Dave coming up next.
Hey, it's Chris Carlin from Rutgers Football and 98.7 ESPN in New York, and you're listening to Short Time with Vin and Dave on 94.3 The Point and 105.7 The Hawk. These fellas are entertaining.
Let's face it, investment concepts and financial planning can be very intimidating and confusing. Shoreline Wealth Management addresses that feeling head on. Their goal is to educate you while offering financial advice without buzzwords and jargon. Shoreline includes you in the process and makes you comfortable every step of the way on your path to financial freedom. Shoreline Wealth Management is your financial anchor. Visit shorelinewealth.com for more information today. Shoreline Wealth Management, with offices in Manchester and Manahawkin. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
Welcome back to Short Time with Vin and Dave. Vin Avenue, Dave Crossan with you as we wrap up a Father's Day edition of Short Time with Vin and Dave. We just had two fathers on the show with us today, Marlboro Police Chief Peter Pizzullo and Toms River Mayor Mo Hill, who's also a grandfather as well, talking about what's going on in Toms River, the redevelopment project that's going on year-round as well, the expansion of Ocean First Bank, things going on in the summer from Downtown Night Out to the car shows, the antique car shows, different events going on this summer in Toms River, and some safety tips as well. Don't dig in too deep into the sand, and if you're going to Ortley Beach or wherever in Toms River, you want to swim, make sure there's lifeguards present there as well. So some safety tips, but a lot of fun things going on in Toms River.
Great things in Toms River, especially when we're talking about downtown, developing that more an attraction, if you will, for more people to live here, different ages, having different spots, whether it be restaurants or little shops, that it's appealing for people that, hey, they get off of work, they want a nice restaurant to go to, or maybe in the weekend a shop that they like, developing that downtown like other towns have. I think it's tremendous. It's going to attract more people, different age groups.
Yeah, and he obviously mentioned millennials, so, people my age, you figure, those... And obviously people, the snowbirds as well. So you got different age groups coming here to retire. Obviously, you build the younger families and, have people going through the school system as well. And Toms River has a great school system. We obviously talked with the new superintendent, Mike Sitta, on one of our shows early on. Way back when we started, in the early stages of this thing.
You have bus service for people that do have to go into the city. It's right here. They have the express service. So for people are like, either they have to go, every day or maybe only a couple days a week that we're working remote, and then some days they have to go in. It's a nice option.
I did that in college when I had an internship after one summer with Westwood One in New York City. Just go ahead to downtown Toms River, take the NJ Transit bus from downtown Toms River, and you go from there to New York City, right through the Lincoln Tunnel. It usually goes maybe an hour or so.
It's very manageable.
It would get up there pretty quickly.
I'm like, you can get on the bus, relax. You're not driving the stress of that. And, I'm all for it. It's definitely going to give people that are considering, hey, maybe I will live in this area, have all the great things going on, but yet I still need to go up to New York. Well, guess what? There it is. You know me, I love my trains, and of course I love the buses.
The bus.
So the easiest
we got the
way
bus
to
here
do
in Toms River,
take
Dave.
that bus. There you go.
Well, we got a great show coming up next week as well. Go to our app and our website Wednesday. A couple big short guests. It'll be the last Sunday in June coming up next week, Dave, and we've got a great show coming up because this time next week we'll be closing in on the 4th of July weekend, which will be the week after.
That's unbelievable.
So summer just underway, starting to fly, it seems already, but we got a couple guests who will help us with that. Summer safety, summer concerns, obviously learning about our local environment as well.
Yes.
So check our app Wednesday for who those two guests will be.
The mystery.
The mystery swirling here on Short Time with Vin and Dave. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, all the grandfathers, godfathers, stepfathers, all those who have a fatherly role and an influence in the lives of other people. So hope it's a great day for a barbecue and everything, or whatever you're doing, whatever you're going. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Happy Father's Day to my dad as well, of course.
Absolutely.
Dave, have a great Sunday ahead.
You too, my friend. Stay well.
Have a great Sunday to everybody out there. A great week ahead. More Short Time with Vin and Dave a week from now. 94.3 The Point, 105.7 The Hawk. Until then, we're out.
Good, thanks.
Hi, this is Christy Pierce-Rampone, former U.S. women's soccer team captain, Olympic gold medalist, World Cup champion, and Point Borough High School alum. And you're listening to Short Time with Vin and Dave on 94.3 The Point and 105.7 The Hawk. Tune in for some real conversation with Dave and Vin. You don't want to miss this.